This time, I'm going to share a story about a haunted motel experienced by a trucker when he booked the room for a night. When it comes to haunting experiences, a night is already enough to make you run away if it is your first experiences. It is a normal human mind to enter the state of fight or flight, and in this case, against unseen supernatural occurrences, flight is all you need to do. No more standing still, no more dilly-dallying. Without wasting time, let's listen to the story. The night was thick with the scent of pine and anticipation as Alex Parker's headlights cut through the darkness of the winding mountain road. He had been driving for hours, the monotony broken only by sporadic bursts of static on his CB radio. The motel he had booked, the Whispering Pines Inn, was supposed to be a welcome respite, but as he neared the secluded establishment, a chill settled in his bones. The Whispering Pines Inn stood nestled among towering trees, its weathered sign swinging gently in the breeze. The building itself was a relic of a bygone era, peeling paint, faded neon lights, and an eerie stillness that seemed to permeate the air. Alex parked his truck and stepped out, his breath forming misty clouds in the cold night air. He grabbed his duffel bag from the trunk and approached the front desk. A middle-aged woman with tired eyes greeted him, her smile strained and her voice soft. "Welcome to the Whispering Pines Inn. Room 13 is ready for you," she said, handing him a brass key attached to a worn-out keychain. Alex nodded his thanks, trying to shake off the uneasy feeling that had settled over him since he arrived. He made his way down a dimly lit corridor, the floorboards creaking under his weight. Room 13 was at the end of the hall, its door slightly ajar, as if beckoning him inside. He pushed the door open and stepped into the room. The air inside was stale and musty, the furnishings outdated and covered in a layer of dust. Alex set his bag on the bed and sighed, feeling a twinge of disappointment. The inn looked nothing like the photos online. No cozy ambiance, no inviting charm, just a sense of abandonment that sent a shiver down his spine. He tried to brush off his unease and unpacked his things, determined to make the best of his stay. But as he settled in for the night, strange occurrences began to unfold. The clock on the bedside table ticked relentlessly, each second echoing in the silence. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and contorting in the dim lamplight. Alex tossed and turned, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. A faint whisper floated through the room, too indistinct to make out words, but unmistakable in its presence. Alex froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He strained to listen, his ears tuned to every creak and rustle in the old building. Just as suddenly as it had started, the whisper stopped. Alex sat up in bed, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He reached for his phone, intending to call the front desk, but hesitated. What would he say? That he heard voices in the night? That the motel was haunted? He shook his head, trying to dispel his growing unease. It was just his imagination, he told himself, the stress of work and the long drive playing tricks on his mind. He lay back down, determined to get some rest before continuing his journey in the morning. But sleep eluded him. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind rattling the windows sent a jolt of fear through him. He tossed and turned for what felt like hours, the darkness closing in around him like a suffocating blanket. Then, just as he was on the verge of drifting off, a figure appeared at the foot of his bed. A young woman in a faded nightgown, her hair tangled and wild. Alex's breath caught in his throat as he stared at her, his mind struggling to comprehend what he was seeing. The woman's eyes were hollow and filled with an ancient sorrow. She reached out a trembling hand toward him, her lips moving soundlessly. Alex tried to speak, but his voice failed him. He was paralyzed with fear, unable to tear his gaze away from the spectral figure before him. Suddenly, the room filled with a chilling cold, the temperature dropping so sharply that Alex could see his breath in the air. The woman's form flickered, her image wavering like a mirage. Alex squeezed his eyes shut, praying for the apparition to disappear. When he opened them again, the room was empty. The woman had vanished, leaving behind only a lingering chill and the echo of her silent plea. Heart racing, Alex leaped out of bed and grabbed his things. He didn't bother packing. He just needed to get out of that room, out of that motel. He flung open the door and ran down the hallway, the floorboards groaning under his hurried footsteps. As he reached the front desk, the tired woman looked up, concern etched on her face. "Is everything all right, sir?" Alex struggled to catch his breath, his words tumbling out in a rush. "There was a woman in my room. She was..." The woman's expression softened and she nodded knowingly. "You've seen her too. She's been here for as long as I can remember." Alex blinked, trying to make sense of her words. Who is she?" The woman sighed, her gaze drifting to the floor. "They say she was a bride-to-be, staying here the night before her wedding. Something happened. No one knows for sure what. And she never made it to the altar. Now, she wanders the halls, searching, waiting." Alex felt a chill run down his spine. Is the motel haunted?" The woman hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Some say so. We've had guests report strange things over the years. Whispers, footsteps, cold spots. But she means no harm. Just searching." Alex nodded numbly, his mind racing with a mixture of fear and disbelief. He thanked the woman mechanically and hurried out to his truck, tossing his bag to the empty seat beside him with shaking hands. The night air felt icy against his skin, the darkness suffocating. He climbed into the driver's seat and started the engine, the motel fading in the rearview mirror as he sped away. The road stretched out before him, empty and silent, but the memory of the haunted motel, the whispers, the chilling cold, the ghostly figure at his bedside lingered in his mind. As he drove into the night, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he had glimpsed into a world beyond understanding, a world where restless spirits roamed and the veil between life and death was paper thin. And though he tried to convince himself it was just a hallucination, a trick of the mind, deep down he knew that some mysteries were better left unsolved, some hauntings better left undisturbed in the darkness of the Whispering Pines Inn. If you enjoyed the story, you can support me more by subscribing to this channel. Your support will help me to gather more stories like this from any places I travel to. Until then, stay safe. May the blessings of God be with you.